Hey everybody, this is Kip Johnson again, and this video is 10 tips on how to get your offer accepted on a house. Are you trying to buy a house in a hot seller's market and having trouble getting the offer accepted? Have no fear, I'm going to give you 10 tips on how you can get your offer accepted on the house you're looking to buy. Tip number 10 especially is one that you will want to hang around for. Very few realtors even know about this one. Also, don't worry, these aren't going to be like tips that say just increase your offer price. As a professional negotiator, these are some of the things that I do to get my clients, when they're buying a home, their offer accepted. Tip number 1 is have your lender call the listing agent. When you submit your offer, something that you can do that will have a huge contribution towards your offer getting accepted is the lender or your lender actually calling the listing agent. And they're going to tell that listing agent that you have been fully vetted, your income and debt ratios match up and have all been checked, and this will be a very quick close. This is going to give the listing agent a peace of mind that this sale will happen, and they're going to have less of a chance to actually have a sale fail. If you had two loans that were exactly the same, two offers that were exactly the same, and the only thing that differed from them was one of them had their lender call the listing agent, create a relationship with that listing agent, and give them assurance that that loan would close, which offer do you think would get accepted? Now, if you want more information on this, I actually created a video about this a little while back, and you can find that link up in this corner right here. Now, tip number 2, have your agent ask what the seller wants to see in an offer. If you're interested in a house that's probably going to get multiple offers, have your agent call the other agent and ask them what it would take for them to accept an offer before the offer review date or right when they get that offer. If the listing agent tells your agent what is acceptable to them and that's acceptable to you, write it up. Put a very short expiration time on this offer so they can't wait for their offers. This offer strategy actually works extremely well, and I actually just used this about 2 days ago to get an offer accepted on a very competitive home for some of my clients. Tip number 3 is write an offer that's slightly higher than asking price with a very short expiration time. I'm talking like 12 hours. This works really well if you can get into the house before it goes on the market or right when it comes on the market. The goal is to beat the other offers before they even know the house is on the market, and they don't even have a chance to write an offer or call on the home to schedule appointments to see it. Tip number 4 is cover your own closing costs. This one kind of goes without saying, but far too often do I see people asking for the closing costs to be paid for by the seller. I understand that if you need the closing costs to be paid for by the seller, then it has to happen. But the biggest issue the seller is going to have is that this is not going to appraise. But what happens if it doesn't appraise? Well, if it doesn't appraise, then either the seller will need to come down in their price, or you will have to make up the difference in the purchase price and the appraisal with cash. Okay, tip number 5 is get the offer accepted first. The most important thing about negotiating is getting the offer accepted. You need to think, how can I get this offer accepted first? And not, I need to get a great deal. Getting the offer accepted will get you into the next phase of negotiations with the inspection and the appraisal. In these next negotiations, the inspection and the appraisal, you're going to be able to work and beat the seller down a little bit more over the little things that's wrong with the house that you want fixed or you want a price reduction for. I'm not saying that you want to extremely over offer on a house, but I'm talking about trying to beat out the other offers and not worrying as much in this initial offer phase about the price. An extra $5,000 on an offer might go a long ways if you beat out the other offers. And if it, at the end of the day, in the inspection and the appraisal period or negotiations, you can't get to a price where you feel comfortable, you can always back out. Tip number 6, use an escalation clause. Using an escalation clause is one of the best ways to win an offer war. Let me explain what an escalation clause is. An escalation clause is a clause in an offer that explains you're willing to go higher with this offer. It will increase your initial offer if the seller gets a higher bid from another potential buyer. Your offer will escalate or increase by a specific amount above the competing offer, but only up to a maximum price that is outlined in the contract. For example, your offer is $100,000 with an escalation clause that automatically increases your offer by $2,000 increments above other offers. You can also set a cap at $110,000. If an offer comes in at $105,000, then the escalation clause would increase your offer to $107,000, $2,000 above the $105,000 offer. However, if an offer came in at $110,000, your offer would want to increase. This is a very good way of increasing your offer, but not just throwing a dart and picking a higher price that may accidentally go way over what was needed. Tip number 7 is have an inspection, but say you're buying it as is. The inspection is the second scariest part for any seller. They have no idea what is going to be asked for. If you take the inspection, or if you take the negotiations of asking for things to be repaired off the table, you will greatly increase your chance of getting your offer accepted. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to have you moving into some house that has a ton of things wrong with it. Now, there are tons of ways you can still protect yourself, even though you're saying you're buying it as is. First, you should still have your professional inspection period. If you would like a video that explains that inspection period, I'll link another one right up here. Your professional inspection period will allow you to still do your due diligence and know everything possible about the home. Second, even though you're saying you're buying it as is, doesn't mean that you actually have to. If you find something that's a hard no with the house, ask for the seller to fix it. They'll probably be a little bit pissed off, but they'll be less pissed than they would be if they had to go back on the market. Think about it. Do you think the seller would rather do a few little repairs at an already agreed upon price, or have to go back on the market to find a new price and possibly have to fix a lot more? Okay, tip number 8, offer the seller unique benefits. When setting your offer apart, there's very few things you can do that's going to make your offer way different. So think outside of the box. Offer to give them free rent back for a month so they can move very easily. Offer to let them stay in your beach house for a week. There's all kinds of things. You will have to check with your state's real estate laws to see what you are legally able to offer, but the point is to be creative. You never know what incentive is going to be the one to make the seller pick your offer over all the others. Tip number 9 is pay the seller's moving expenses. To go along with tip number 8, another great way to set yourself apart is to offer to pay the seller's moving expenses. If they're just moving across town, this might be a great way for you to set your offer apart without going over their asking price crazy amounts. Now, I would definitely check to see where they're moving, and I would also see how much stuff they had. Probably judge the size of their house before you offer this one up, because if they're moving a 5,000 square foot house across the country, it might not be worth it. The final tip, tip number 10, is pay your real estate agent's commission. This is one I guarantee nobody else is doing, and I guarantee that it will set your offer apart. The seller typically pays both of the agent's commissions. Yes, that's right. The seller pays their agent's commissions and the seller pays your agent's commissions. But if you write it in the offer that you have already agreed with your agent that you'll be paying their commissions, it's going to greatly increase the amount of money that the seller could be walking away with. All right, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, if you like this information or if you want help getting your offer accepted, give me a call. Here's my number. Shoot me a text. I'm glad to help you anywhere in Oregon. Again, thank you so much for watching this video and supporting this channel. If you like this content, go ahead and give it a subscribe or Give me a like and a comment on other things that you would like to see in my videos.